Speed is very important. Put in a better way, what exactly is wrong with right now? Patience is largely an excuse, especially when you're getting towards middle age. When you hear just be patient, that usually means I don't want to do that. So we're not going to spend time preaching patience on this show. That's what yoga is for, I think. I haven't done yoga in too long either. Welcome to Pushing 100. I'm Adam 12, radio rat, podcaster, ultra runner, beer drinker. If you listen to me on the radio or my previous podcast, Pushing 50, welcome back. If you came here from the former, good. We're still going to rock. From the latter, great. We're still going to help each other do more stuff while taking less crap, but we're going to have more fun with it this time. So, has the big O hit you yet? I'm not talking about the one that would qualify as fun. We're not working that blue on this show. I'm talking about the big post-New Year's Overwhelm. The one that comes from all the busy work you've got to do to keep your New Year's resolutions on beam. Because I'm getting that pretty hard right now, and I'm not even on TikTok. Overwhelm is like the dark side of speed. Patience, though, ain't the cure. I'm not sure there is a cure, because it's not a problem that ever seems to stay fixed. And probably couldn't stay fixed unless you were willing to live such a low-tech, monastic existence that you probably wouldn't know what a podcast was, let alone have heard of anyone who's got one. I think the problem is that the year hasn't lasted long enough for us to get used to these new habits we've created in order to chase down these big goals of ours. In the previous iteration of this podcast, Pushing 50, I mentioned that my late grandmother said it takes 3 weeks for the food to catch up with you. And me finding that the converse is also accurate, that it takes 3 weeks for exercise to show results. We're only just now approaching the 4th week of 2024. And with all the goals for which you got shit to do, more exercise being one of them, I hope, it wasn't ever all going to be dialed in by this point. Fast, yes. Furious, no. You can live fast and die old. Lemmy from Motorhead proved that. But don't think for 1 second you can live furious and hope to make it to 100. That's like a state of constant overwhelm. I can't imagine that would equate to very good sleep, if nothing else. Seems to me, therefore, that pacing is what we're looking for. And here's where I believe that life can imitate running. During ultramarathons of over 50 miles, you're generally allowed to have a pacer. Someone who can run with you from the 50-mile mark through the finish, and whose job is somewhere between keeping you company and keeping you sane. More specifically, though, they make certain you don't go too fast or too slow at any given point. In my last race, my pacer, Matt, took me from miles 80 through 100. When he came on board, I'd been going for about 22 hours. And when you've been doing any one thing for nearly a full day, a second opinion is probably a smart move. So about 5 miles after Matt came on board, the captain at one of the aid stations asked me how I was doing, and I pointed to Matt and said, "Ask him, man, he's the boss." And I think the aid station captain said, "Well, I guess he's doing quite well if he can make cracks like that." Feedback's a good thing, man, both even though and because the person giving it, ultimately, they can't run those miles for you. It's not their goal, it's yours. You know what truly lies between fast and furious on the speed side and pacing and patience on the slow side? A snack. Have a little something to eat. Get yourself a healthy distraction. Though if you keep going at this pace, you might need a longer health distraction than just a snack time. So here's another one. The North Carolina mountains in the springtime. Great accommodations, amazing scenery, rugged trails, and friendly horsies. Talking about Leatherwood. It's 3 hours from Raleigh, 2 hours from Charlotte, 45 minutes from Boone and Blowing Rock, so it's close to everything while not really being on the map. My good friend Richard from Dirty Wolf Racing, he recently rediscovered this place. They had trail races out there years ago, and now that both time and management have evolved, the hills are going to rumble once again. It's a rolling 7.5-mile loop. You do it 1, 2, or 4 times. Your choice. The price on both the 1 and 2-lap versions just got lowered. So when you consider the challenging but not brutal nature of the course, I've scouted it myself. It's a lot of fun. A great way to dip your toe into the sport while getting away for the weekend. Leatherwood from Dirty Wolf Racing, Saturday, April 13th. Got all the details at Dirty Wolf Racing on Facebook and Instagram. So here at the P100 podcast, we never live life at least. But do please at least give yourself credit for not taking part in dry January. Talk about overwhelm. To concentrate on that to the exclusion of nearly all else from the people I'm seeing do it, with a ticking clock, it's so pointless. That crap should long since gone the way of the Tide Pod Challenge. Actually, the Tide Pod Challenge makes more sense than dry January because, well, TikTok. Have a TikTok-free January. There's a habit that could sprout a pair of legs. And if I sound like a 50-plus-year-old guy right now, all the more reason to enjoy the fruits of being middle-aged. And two, I know a bunch of 25-year-old guys who won't go near TikTok either. For the same reasons I won't go near it. Dry January does not make the world a better place, but a TikTok-free existence, I know that would be an improvement. Throw out the baby, the bathwater, the tub, and the house the tub is in, please. What you can really do to help with overwhelm is get outside, specifically because it's winter. Warm and cozy is wonderful, but there's so much to be said for removing yourself from confines that are too friendly. Focusing on conditions that are kind of rough stops you from overthinking everything in your home, office, or even your gym, which you're underusing, overusing, afraid to use it all. That's why today's episode arrived later on Friday than usual. I had a little trouble pushing record on this one, truth be told, so I got out of the house for a walk down by Little Sugar Creek, which if it isn't the coldest part of Charlotte, it's right down there. And it really was cold. Made all the difference, though, because when you're outside in the winter, you got to get through it. And you will, quickly. Don't you walk fast in winter? I know I do. 10,000 steps, gone. And get this, recent research shows you might not even need 10,000 steps. Smart science people saying just 4,000 steps per day can maintain brain health and help prevent Alzheimer's. That ain't at least. That's minimum basic, man. It won't get you where you want to go, but on those truly overwhelming days, can get you where you need to be. Thanks for listening. This is Pushing 100. I'm Adam 12. On Facebook, it's Pushing 100 Podcast. On Instagram, it's Adam 12 Sweat Hog. Have a great weekend. I'll hear you next Friday.